Hey Ryan, how are you? I have a question for you, Ryan. So Ryan, you are the attorney for Brad Raffensperger, right? You're the attorney for Brad Raffensperger?
No, not exactly.
Well,
Excuse me.
Your name is Ryan Germany, right?
I'm sorry. Could you get me a second?
No, I know, but we are recording on a public sidewalk. So Brad Raffensperger claims to be a Republican, and as you know, there's a likelihood that Donald Trump is going to be the Republican nominee on the ballot in 2024. And as counsel for Brad Raffensperger, you're very familiar with Donald Trump. And do you think that it is appropriate for the Secretary of State of Georgia to be attending a hyper-partisan conference? Don't worry, I'm a non-violent person.
Who are you?
My name is Loomer. I'm a journalist who broke the story about the secret election summit that's taking place today. And I just want to know, how is it that voters of Georgia are supposed to have confidence in their election if their Secretary of State is attending a conference hosted by David Becker? Okay, David Becker wrote this book, The Big Truth, and in this book, it's a manifesto that trashes Donald Trump and his voters as conspiracy theorists. And so, is Brad Raffensperger acting in a nonpartisan manner when he attends a conference that received funding from Mark Zuckerberg? We know that Mark Zuckerberg had weekly meetings with the FBI leading up to the 2020 election to suppress information about the Hunter Biden laptop story in order to influence the election. And that's what David Becker supports. So why is Brad Raffensperger here today?
I mean, there's Republicans up there, there's Democrats up there. It's on
Let's
YouTube.
be honest,
You can
though.
watch it.
It's not. There are really not a lot of Republicans. Brad Raffensperger.
Why do you call it secret when it's being broadcast on
They
YouTube?
only decided to broadcast it once I released my report, and they
Good job.
they also took their information from the hotel block and the lodging information offline in an effort to conceal factual information about where these elections officials were going to be. And so I just want to know, for the sake of voter confidence, because as you know, after the 2020 election, there's polling that shows that upwards of 70% of Americans don't have faith in our elections. So how are the voters of Georgia supposed to have confidence in their elections when Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger is attending a conference with David Becker? This is being hosted by David Becker. Are you aware of the fact that he is a radical leftist activist?
Voters should have confidence in the election. There's been no evidence that anything was incorrect or counted incorrectly. People have looked at it. People hired by Trump have looked at it and have found otherwise. All right, I got to go back.
No, but there's evidence. There's evidence that Mark Zuckerberg, who is the funder and financer of this organization CEIR. So, do you think it's appropriate? We know that that's factual information. Excuse me, I would really appreciate if you would answer for the sake of transparency.
Sorry, nice to meet you.
After I confronted Ryan Germany, I realized he had run to the police for cover as a way to distract me and my camera crew so that Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, who was right around the corner, could sneak inside without being confronted. As you can see from this video, Germany denied being Raffensperger's lawyer when I asked him if that's indeed who he was. But you can see they attended this CEIR Zuckerberg-funded conference together, and then they called the police on me and my camera crew as a way to deter us from questioning them anymore. It's worth noting that 4 days prior to this radical, leftist, Soros-tied, Zuckerberg-funded election conference, Republican Governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, signed legislation into law banning the use of Zuckerbucks in future Georgia elections. Given that fact, and also knowing that taxpayer money was likely used to pay for Raffensperger's trip to Washington, D.C. to attend this summit, it's even more sinister and odious to see Raffensperger and Germany at the Zuckerberg-funded SARE conference. We know that Trump haters like Jamie Raskin were in attendance and participated in discussions with Raffensperger at this conference where the 2024 election was discussed. Will Governor Brian Kemp enforce Georgia's new law? If Georgia voters don't hold Raffensperger accountable, we will see a repeat of the stolen 2020 election in 2024. If you enjoyed this report or you want to learn more about the summit, please be sure you subscribe to my Substack today. You can subscribe at lauraloomer.substack.com. It's free to subscribe, but if you want to support my independent journalism, you can always upgrade your subscription to $7 a month or $70 per year. Also, please be sure that you're following me on Twitter, Facebook, Gab, and Getter at Laura Loomer so that you never miss any of my updates or reports. I'd also like to take a moment to thank the sponsor of this episode of Loomer Unleashed, Goldco. Banks are getting bailed out, and who's going to pay for it? You are. They say that taxpayers won't pay, and they say that other banks will pay. But how are those banks going to get the money? They'll probably raise your bank fees like they always do. And if the Fed step in, you'll likely also be paying an inflation tax. In times like this, storing all your money in a bank may be very risky, as we have seen. So what can two average Joes like you and I even do about it? You can protect your wealth with gold and silver, just like so many other Americans and even banks are doing right now. Call 855-317-5157 or visit goldco.com/Laura Loomer to learn how to protect your savings with gold and silver. Take action today to protect yourself and your family from financial collapse. Again, call 855-317-5157 or visit goldco.com/Laura Loomer and learn how you could get up to $10,000 in bonus silver while supplies last. That's 855-317-5157 or goldco.com/Laura Loomer. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Loomer Unleashed.